Man, let's talk about Rueben Bain. I just know him as, one of the top guys, and one of the top guys in from Miami. I've seen him. Don't really do the draft special shit no more. Excuse my language, but yeah, I seen some of Rueben Bain, man. He's becoming a topic of conversation because reportedly he has the shortest arms for a defensive end in the history of the NFL Combine. And T-Rex arms, and they need you to have those long arms to fend off offensive linemen. Now, sometimes also for offensive linemen, if you got short arms, that really dictates whether you play inside or outside. Remember the Jaguars, to put it in context, they decision between Trayvon Walker, which they just gave him an extension, and picking Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson was over because Walker long arms was longer. And we see so far who's had the better career. And the other thing about Walker, he was just, them football players that's like athletes or they're good at multiple positions. A lot of times, Travis Hunter, in the league, they can never really find out what they're really good at. They can be great at one thing. Isaiah Simmons, remember I was like, I didn't trust Quinn Trisha to draft him, the linebacker out of Clemson. So, yeah, when we start having those, conversations, that's kind of how anal can get about arm length. Now, some people, it's being reported that he can drop off some people's draft boards. And people saying if he there at 17, should the Lions take him? And I've read in the threads and I've seen the highlights. He's been the best defensive player all year in college football. He's a beast. He got short arms, but his legs are big. And then I hear like he could be 275. And then you ask yourself, do you make him? Do you try to put a little bit more weight on him and put him on the inside? Do you make him a hybrid inside-outside guy? But what I seen on tape is a lot of twitch, a lot of bend, a lot of athleticism is what I see on tape from him. He's very athletic. The way he can bend that corner, and Angelo Ball. Lion feel like we ain't been good since he performed. But the way he can bend and how athletic he is the arms everything? I mean, no. Strong legs, understands how to get up under, offensive tackles. The way he able to bend to get under there and the closing speed, maybe some of that can be made up. That can make up for his lack of arm length. But definitely, if I'm giving you an honest answer, if he there in the second round, I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's absolutely a no-brainer if he's there in the second round. And you go up and you can get the best defensive player in college football now. Sometimes, being the best in college football don't translate to being the best in professional football. I remember, we had conversations where some people didn't understand, like the kid from North Carolina who they said he has a pro game. They said that he probably would be better. He's probably more suited for the NBA game because it's more open, and people don't really understand when they say that is that, no zone, it's more up and down, more space to operate. And in college football, you see a lot of quarterbacks, Jason White. What was the kid that played quarterback that won the Heisman from Nebraska, didn't do nothing in the league. So it's a lot of times where a guy could be a great college receiver, not so much of a good pro receiver. So it could be a guy that was an average college receiver. The pro game was just for him. So those are the things that we started to kind of really talk about. But me personally, if he there in the second round, I'm probably gonna move up to try to get him. If I can get the offensive tackle on my dream and get him, we'll figure out the rest later. If we got to make him a hybrid defensive tackle, defensive lineman, linebacker, hybrid edge, then those are the conversations that, we eventually gonna have to have. So, yeah, those are the conversations that, we eventually gonna have to have. But the talent is there. And if I can get that talent, if he drops second, third round, anywhere down there, 17, I think he's gonna have a plethora of options. His teammate, I don't know much about him. Heard he's really good too. Could go for day one, early day two, first, second round. But yeah, if I can get him day two, you know, that might be like your Brian Branch type of steal. And I know we continue to hate to make the comparisons, but that can probably be your Brian Branch type of steal. You know? So, I mean, really only time really gonna tell. So my thing is, if, you know, he there in day two, you know, and then I don't think he did any athletic ability at the combine. So that's another thing about it. He really ain't do much at the combine. So, I mean, so be it. But pretty sure you gauge what he could do offline. But yeah, if he there second round, I'm probably gonna move up to get him. Or if he fall, I'm getting him. You know, but arm length is a very important thing for them. You know, very important. You know, and I know it's a shock. You know, it'd be some guys, they be listed at 6'2", you know, and they get there, he 5'11", 5'10", and they make all the difference in the world. You know, make all the difference in the world. So I know he motivated and, you know, to get out there and do his thing, but they said his base is strong, and for him to bend and pop up the way he do under offensive tackles, hell yeah. But he gonna have to be even that more special, you know, with his moves. You know, having that disability, not having that arm length, T-Rex arms. You know, in the back of your mind, you said if we take him, we possibly can play him in the second round. I think we possibly could play him inside or move him around or whatever the situation may be. But I think his versatility, his strength, you know, you can take the risk because it sounds like you could do multiple things with him. But how strong he is at that base, you can definitely tell on film. And he got an explosion, you know, but he got to have to be better. You know, he got to really be that guy with his moves, whether it's spin, chop, swim. Really not too many swims on the outside, rip and goes. He gonna have to really be him at his moves and be really good at with his hands. Because the scouting is gonna be, if you get your hands on him, his T-Rex arms ain't gonna, you gonna be able to hold him. That's gonna be the thing. So he can't get in a position where them offensive tackles get his hands on, it's over. And if that does happen, he has to learn a way to get out of it. It's like wrestling. Wrestling shows you how to get out of positions that, you know, the normal person or the above normal person can't get out of. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the link in the description. It says find me everywhere. It's the link tree, Facebook, Instagram, X, the whole nine. Appreciate the love, support. Peace.